Chucky really so hard to kill?
You stupid slut!
It's a doll. Step on it. It's over.
What season are you?
Oh, I'm an autumn. Except I'm on my period, and then I'm a winter.
And once and for all, who's the damn boss?
What are you talking about?
The answers to those questions, plus dancing raisins and the racial overtones of Rick Astley.
I'm a white boy with a big old black voice.
Because you love the 80s. Because you're still waiting for that Terrence Trent D'Arby comeback. Admit it.
Thanks a lot.
This is 1988.
There's no fighter like me, and I can beat any man in the world.
Hit it!
Mike Tyson just wanted to knock stuff out back then.
Right hand and down goes Holmes.
This is when he was beating the crap out of everybody. He was just nasty. Just an absolutely frightening individual who would pummel people.
It was great to see someone that ferocious come out of the corner, all hunched over in the black shorts with no socks on. And this was old school, ass beating, you know. It was great stuff.
Everything with Tyson was a good night punch or good night combination. You know, and the guy,
Mike Tyson always struck me as a very sensitive guy, a poet, if you will.
I think he was trying to scrutinize with my brain.
With an anger management problem.
Tyson along the rope doing damage.
This is your first fight as a newlywed.
Then it's like everything's cool with Mike, and then Robin Givens. He marries Robin.
I think it was more or less, hey, you're hot, you're famous, let's go.
It seems one of those put together things, Beauty and the Beast.
There was just no way that woman and that man were going to stay together. You just looked at them, and she'd be like, hey, we're very happy together. We're building a life here. And he'd be like, oh, I'm going to chew you and eat you.
Career-wise, Robin Givens made the wrong choice. It would have been worth it to stay with him, maybe give up half of an ear if she had to. She would have had a much bigger career.
When it gets down to it, you're married to somebody, and you need to take out the damn trash. And the response is, it's scoopalificus. It's ridiculous. It wasn't going to happen.
I refuse to be hurt, knocked down, and knocked out. I can't lose. I refuse to lose.
Go ahead, honey. Tell him what it is. Wait a second. Mike can be watching this. Because you can't make fun of Mike.
All right.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Yeah, I remember Child's Play. It was a freaking joke and an embarrassment to horror movies everywhere.
Ooh, look out. Here we go. A serial killer and a doll. And you know, a Cabbage Patch Kid with an attitude.
You stupid slut! Did you with me?
Chucky was great because he had great lines. You did have to laugh. Come on.
You have a date with death.
Some of the people that got killed in the most absurd way.
Chucky was a child's worst nightmare because how many funny-looking dolls have you received?
I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end.
He's something, isn't he? One of them actually coming to life was probably the most horrific thing you could think of.
My favorite scene from the film was when this old white couple gets in the elevator, and, you know, Chucky has to act like he's a doll because he's trying to get upstairs.
Look, George, some child left their doll in the elevator.
The lady looks at the doll and goes, what an ugly doll. You know, and Chucky goes, you. It was the funniest thing I could imagine, man.
It's a freaking doll, people. We're running away from dolls.
It just didn't seem realistic. The leprechaun to chop people up, scary. But the little doll, not so much.
The guy, he's this tall. And he's like clobbering. No. Sorry, I could beat you up, Chucky.
It's a doll. Step on it. It's over.
I like the last scene in the movie.
We're friends to the end.
No, wait a minute.
This is
the end, my
friend.
I love 88.
Mom, where's my English book?
I sold it.
The show was called Roseanne. It was Roseanne's show. You know, that was just a female-dominated, household.
I do plenty around here.
Like what?
Clean the gutters.
And
What's the point here, Roseanne?
Roseanne was based on Roseanne's life up to that point. She was a comedian and lived in a small house, had a husband and 3 kids.
I'm sorry, what do you want me to do? Throw myself off a bridge?
Yeah, and take your brother and sister with you. She really represented this sort of a middle America housewife, anybody who hates her life and is sick of it all and has a mouth.
I'm fixing dinner.
Oh, but honey, you just fixed dinner 3 years ago.
Goodman was great on the show and the perfect Ricky to her Lucy.
Are you ever sorry we got married?
Every second of my life.
She was talking about things that nobody had the guts to talk about before.
A guy is a lump like this donut. Okay, so first, you got to get rid of all the stuff his mom did to him. It was so honest because the characters weren't all skinny and like talking like this. Knock it off.
There's something really sexy about somebody that's really funny.
Well, you think you're pretty cute, don't you?
Our school's having a food drive for poor people.
Well, tell them to drive some of that food over here.
I always like laughing at poor people. If there's a way for me to watch people who are in worse off shape than me, it makes me feel better about myself. And I think that's why America loved Roseanne so much.
I love you too.
I'm a white boy with a big old black voice.
When I heard Rick Ashley's voice, I definitely thought he was not a white guy.
You're expecting like Luther Vandross, you know, you're expecting like this huge black guy, and then when you saw him, you were like, he's got red hair. He's white. Yeah, it's freckles.
And he kind of looked like Wally Beaver. I mean, he was a very sort of clean-cut guy.
We've known each other for so long.
People thought he looked like Howdy Doody. Poor thing.
He did not look so unlike Howdy Doody, but he could sing, and he had convictions. He wasn't going to give her up. He thought about it. Ultimately, he decided, you know what? Not only am I not going to give you up now, guess what, honey? I'm never going to give you up.
Darling.
Guns N' Roses blew me away. They were great.
When they first came out, I thought they were the new Rolling Stones.
When I heard Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses, I thought it was one of the best rock and roll bands in the world. Great songs, great production, 10 million records out of the box.
I think they brought excitement back into rock and roll, and I think they also brought the bad boy image back into rock and roll, which is something they've been missing for a while.
I think Slash was a bigger badass, but Axl was the front man, and he was cuter.
I liked Axl because he went to one of my stores and bought that Roses stuff. He liked that rose print.
And the other thing that was really endearing was that crab dance of his that he does, you know, go sideways. I've been trying to figure that out for years.
Well, that's right, Axl. I know where you got that little sidestep. Come on. I'm a believer. And then I saw her face. Davy Jones.
Slash is rock star, down and home, dirty guy will pass out in the bar, you know, and go out in the alley and pee with you, you know. He's a cool guy.
My theory was that Slash had terrible, terrible acne. And that's why he covered his face.
Slash wore that top hat to be fanciful, A. It's very Dickensian. And also he had to keep his Jew fro down to a shout, because that thing could go 3 or 4 feet in the air.
Slash with his hair and the whole 9 yards, just like a freak show, you know? I was always wondering, what's under there?
They were so dirty and so nasty, and they were always drunk when they were on TV. It was kind of refreshing.
I love 88. Coming up, rap busts a move into the mainstream.
I remember Fab Five Freddy. I was down with him.
Working women bulk up.
Big shoulders. We wanted to look like linebackers.
And the wonder of Winnie Cooper.
I'm just saying she played an integral role in the puberty of every young man from 1980 to now.
Next on I Love 1988. But first, the make-out songs of 1988.
Ladies and gentlemen, I, Lionel Richie, give you the make-out songs of 1988.
She's like the wind.
She's Like the Wind by Patrick Swayze.
Hold on.
On to the Night by Richard Marx. And The Flame by Cheap Trick. The Makeout Songs of 1988. Do you feel the love? I sure hope you do.
Makeout Songs. Babes of 88.
I'm Brett Michaels, and I bring you the Babes of 1988. Jessica Rabbit, Animated Babe.
Babes.
Kari War, Remote Control Babe.
Babes.
Samantha Fox, very, very naughty babe.
Babes.
Julia Roberts, Mystic Pizza Babe.
Babes.
And Divine, Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, Babe.
Babes.
And there you have it, the Babes of 1988, and I ought to know.
Babes of 88. What would you do if I sang out of tune?
I loved the Wonder Years so much. They hit so many subjects right on the head of just how you feel growing up.
How kids just obsess about, you know, the girl and you're at your lockers. Because that's your whole world at that time.
Why would anyone want to go steady anyway? Don't ask me.
I had a crush on Fred Savage. And I remember there was an ABC party for all the shows to get together. And I saw him. And it was like stars in my eyes.
Hi, Kevin. Hi, Paul. Winnie Cooper?
Winnie was so cute. She was like the good girl next door.
Winnie on the Wonder Years. I'm just saying she played an integral role in the puberty of every young man from 1980 to now.
I remember the pilot episode and that kiss at the very end, and it lasted so long. I mean, I'm the same age as them, and I was like, wow. Oh, I want my first kiss to be like that.
Hey, Steve. It looks like my baby brother and his girlfriend have found each other.
My character, Wayne, was pulled a lot from my brother Scott.
Getting a little smoocheroo with the movies, baby brother.
There was one scene in particular, actually, where he would try and get in the car, and I kept giving the car gas. And my brother really did that to me in front of all my friends.
Yeah, little known fact that I was on the Wonder Years. I did 2 episodes.
If you don't pass this test and you don't get this license, you know what else you don't get.
I think it really captured that time and the innocence, too, of the 60s.
It was a definite, you know, accurate portrayal of what a kid goes through growing up.
Totally.
Modern rock was defined by INXS and other bands like that.
Apparently the kids call it oldies now.
INXS, INXS, very clever.
Loved INXS. I thought Michael Hutchence was just the sexiest thing on stage ever.
I turned into a 14-year-old blithering groupie idiot in about 10 seconds watching this guy.
Well, he was sexy. Long hair. Okay, restraining order number 37 was Michael Hutchence against me when he was in the States. And I just like the music, Mike.
I was kind of a secret fan of The Cure, but I thought they were freaks from hell.
It was sort of like your goth starter kit.
Well, I was a closet goth, too, and the Cure fans all wore black with a lot of red lipstick and a lot of really white makeup.
Cure was all like this kind of like, I wear my hair like this. Because I just, the world's too painful to look at.
I used to cry a lot. Then I was like, boys don't cry.
What are you crying about? You're a millionaire.
Morrissey's just whiny to me.
Hour-long CD of incessant whining? No thanks.
Morrissey. I could never figure out why he was so depressed.
Just, like a wilting flower.
But he was great at it. I doubt that he was that depressed all the time. I think he was like
You're paying me how much to ride this? My life sucks. Thanks.
My first serious makeout took place to Depeche Mode, so that, holds some memories.
There were a lot of desperately unhappy, acne-ridden teenage boys like me who needed something to believe in. Why we picked Depeche Mode? Search me, brother.
What does Depeche Mode mean? I like kinky sex with a scoop of ice cream.
It's a certain mode. It's the kind of mode that we all shift into. We're feeling a little Depeche. I feel a little Depeche right now, actually.
Chains of Love is everywhere.
I remember in our carpool listening to Erasure, and it really was the kind of music that sort of got you all excited for Trig and Latin.
All these different bands were sort of saying, it's okay to be gay. It's all right. Do it. Yeah, it was a happy dancing time.
I love 88.
Let me give you the history of Mutant Ninja Turtles. They were little baby turtles. They were crawling in the sewer, and a toxic waste spill happened. And they grew into teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Totally righteous, dude.
I remember the song, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turtle power. That's about it.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were Raphael.
Yeah.
Leonardo.
Are you sure this is such a good idea?
Michelangelo.
All right.
And Donatello.
Score 1 for the good guys.
And then their leader was a rat.
The only way one learns is by making mistakes.
And he taught them how to fight. And then they ate pizza, and they got strong.
All right! At last, we can do some serious deep dishing.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set the table for NSYNC. Justin Timberlake is Michelangelo. Joey Fatone is Donatello. Lance Bass, Raphael. And the other dude is the other turtle. Think about it.
Tell me again about the turtles.
Yeah, it was a TV show, and they were action figures, and everyone was obsessed.
Okay, frog facing hunter.
And thank God, it's over.
Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry. Be happy.
I loved the Don't Worry, Be Happy video. I sang that until I drove my parents crazy.
Don't Worry, Be Happy was viewed as the anthem of the entire decade.
Don't worry.
We were definitely going through a big change in 1988 because Reagan was done. So don't worry. Be happy, it's over.
Ain't got no cash, ain't got no style, ain't got no gal to make you smile.
Robin Williams comes in and just mugs. Just acts like an idiot for 3.5 minutes.
Post Mork and Mindy, pre-Patch Adams, Robin Williams. It's an awkward period.
Don't worry, be happy now.
It gets on my nerves today. Don't worry, be happy. Don't tell me what to do. I'll be happy when I'm happy.
It just made me mad. When someone says, don't worry, be happy, I'm like, I'll kill you.
Don't worry, be happy.
I love 88.
California Raisins were back in 88.
Let's get a bunch of raisins and have them sing Motown. What?
Oh, they were funny, and they made raisins kind of like your pal, and, throw them in your backpack and get on out of town. I loved them.
Liked them better than that Pillsbury Doughboy. Always wanted to squash him.
The way that they did it, they looked like the Temptations or Gladys Knight and the Pips, sort of. But they were raisins. They were fruit.
And people were collecting them, and they were I have some. I have one that has a microphone. My mom got me because I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. So she got me the little one who's going...
The California Raisins made you like them so much that the last thing you want to do is bite into them and eat them.
Did you notice more people eating raisins after the California Raisins came out? I didn't. I mean, I was eating a lot of raisins to begin with, but that's because I needed the fiber. I desperately needed the fiber.
Well, those ads are always really cute and innovative when they first come out, and then after 3,000 times you've heard it, the novelty wears off.
I love hunks of 88.
I'm Tracy Elizabeth Lords, and I bring you the hunks of 1988. Will this one do? JFK Jr., Kennedy pedigree hunk. Donald Trump, hi, I could buy and sell you hunk. Kevin Costner, Bull Durham hunk. Joe Montana, heading for another Super Bowl hunk. And Dan Quayle, making George Bush look more presidential hunk. There they are, the men of 1988. 100% USDA prime hunk.
Hunks of 88. I love the 80s.
Sometimes the world looks perfect.
Yeah. I watched Perfect Strangers.
It's good to let your hair fall out once in a while.
It was one of the funniest sitcoms of 1988.
I am Balki Bartakamus.
Oh, with Balki, yeah.
I just like the name Balki Bartakamus.
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 I am Balki Bartakamus.
Would it be impolite to ask if I could be your slave for life?
I think he heard sheep.
I think I've been wasting my time poking animals up the hill with a stick.
It's about Larry and his crazy cousin from, where was he from?
Wasn't he from like Meat Post or something like that?
Meat Post, my little Mediterranean island country.
I felt that they were just like perfect strangers.
I would never let Bronson Pinchot move in with me. You want Balki or no Balki?
Of course not. Don't be ridiculous.
Having to wake up every day to that voice would totally make me kick him out the house.
All I know is that after Mark Linn-Baker did Perfect Strangers, he never had to work again. So I'm very happy for him.
Even this is just like America, another happy ending.
Yeah.
Wicked.
When Faith came out, you kind of had license to like George Michael.
I remember not wanting to like it because it was that first video, just like him and shaking his ass in the camera, you know?
You just had a cute little tush, Mr. George Michael.
He wore jeans that like would literally hug him everywhere. You couldn't avoid but to look, you know, in his region.
Oh boy, George's butt again, little Georgie in his butt.
To be perfectly honest with you, looking back, you kind of look like a pirate.
He made 5 o'clock shadows pretty cool back then.
Probably shaves and goes, oh, I can't be on camera for 7 more hours. Oh, I'm almost ready. Wait, hold on. Almost there. White dudes can get the shadow going real well. And we try and get the shadow, all we get is like bumps and pimples, you know.
1988? I mean, I was a young kid running around. I want your sex. I mean, hello.
He really crossed over and he was not afraid to talk about sex. I mean, I want your sex. It was all about sex.
I Want Your Sex was the soundtrack to me losing my virginity with this girl. We were both very sunburned. Yip, yak, ha, ho, hee, hee. Thanks, George. You should have told us to wear sunscreen, too.
He always had these beautiful, like, exotic women in his videos.
I thought, you lucky guy, look good, you got all these babes, but you didn't care about the babes when it come right down to it. Well, it's friends, you like them as friends. Yes.
Father figure, not written about a girl. Just want to get that clear.
Whatever floats his boat as long as he's happy. Of course, it took it off the market for us chicks.
Hey, one less dude I got to worry about.
I love 88.
Pictionary is one of my all-time favorite games ever. We have Pictionary parties at my house with the dry erase board, you know, the whole thing.
Pictionary is the game where you read something and you draw it. For example, you might give me, Disney World. And then I would draw a very detailed drawing of, like, the Magic Kingdom. And then you would say Disney World. And then we'd all laugh.
Murder, she wrote.
We almost got into a big brawl on a family trip one time because my brother was drawing Italy. We're looking like, what? And he's going, we were like, hand. And he's like, boot. And we didn't know. And he said, it's in Italy.
Why at parties when you play Pictionary do you split up men against women? Because you know somebody's going to get their feelings hurt. And you go home with your wife and you ain't getting none.
But you know, Pictionary turned into like a game show, didn't it?
Welcome to the quick draw game that everybody's playing. It's win, lose, or draw.
I loved Win, Lose, or Draw because it was the cheesiest actors of the time trying to win people money, and I love any show like that.
It was so stupidly funny. And there was all these celebrities, and they're like, a dog, a tree.
Sitting down and writing a letter. Sitting. I just sit right down and write myself a letter.
At the time, Pictionary was like this brilliant game that was really fun. Probably still is fun. I bet there's people right now at home playing Pictionary while they're watching this show with the mute on, going, I don't want to hear this guy talk about the 80s.
I remember hearing that song, Red Red Wine, over and over and over. So much so that I think I hated red wine, and I hadn't even had it at that point in time.
Red, red wine. Still to this day, I can jam to that.
It was like reggae had kind of come back, and UB40 just had that cool vibe.
Usually when you're listening to a reggae song, I don't know what the hell they're saying. Here, they took that sound and put it out there where we can understand it and have fun with it.
I found out that the band was from England right now. I had no idea. If you asked me where they're from right now, I would say I thought they were probably from Jamaica.
His image did not fit what he was singing. I saw it one time and was like, that's him? All right, we won't look at that anymore. We're just going to listen to music.
Totally.
The working woman's wardrobe.
Oh, good Lord.
The shape of the 80s to me was a wedge. Little head, out for the shoulders and down skinny for the legs. Big shoulders. We wanted to look like linebackers.
You had your bag of shoulder pads that could go in and out of all your clothes. The squared off ones, the rounded ones, the ones that went way over, the ones that just went high.
They balance your ass. Get a little bump up here, and it kind of balances the profile.
I'm 6 feet tall. They made me, I look like the fridge.
Was it flattering? I don't think so. But, boy, we all did it, didn't we? Those were the gals that were getting the respect. The ones with their tennis shoes on and their suits and their shoulder pads.
They would have their heels in their bag along with their lunch in the Tupperware.
They were going into the workplace full force in the executive offices, and they wanted to fit in with the boys.
Can you get respect with the little limp bow tie? It was basically like a limp penis around our neck.
I had a girl I was dating, and she started wearing those clothes, and I just couldn't get it up for her anymore.
Women are always looking for, like, the beauty answer.
Carol Jackson's Color Me Beautiful became the Bible. Working women. You were divided into autumn, winter, spring, summer.
There are certain colors that make you feel alive, and then there are certain colors that suck all the life out of you.
If they wore the wrong dress for success suit, like if they put on teal and they weren't a winter, they looked like they were going to puke.
Look at me. My colors, according to the book, are supposed to be like green and yellow. Why is the negress looking like a cadaver?
People were misdiagnosed all the time, and they'd throw away all their clothes and then go rushing back to the Goodwill to try and get them back.
I'm a spring.
I'm an autumn, orange, look.
Oh, I'm an autumn. Except I'm on my period, and then I'm a winter.
I love 88.
Coming up, didn't we get rid of those hippies back in the 60s?
I don't know why anybody would want to go back to the hippie trend.
Where have you gone, Terrence Trent D'Arby?
Terrence Trent who?
And one of television's great unanswered questions.
We just want to know who's the boss.
Next on I Love 1988. But first, this public service announcement.
We are the dummies crashing on through, busting our heads just for you. My name is Vince. This job makes me sore. If you buckle up, I wouldn't do it no more.
They call me Larry. I'm a dummy too. When you don't buckle up, the dummy is you.
Buckle that belt.
These are professional dummies. Do not attempt this at home.
Buckle that belt. That's one thing to say, and we know we're not wrong. When you go for a ride, put your safety belt on.
Then and now, 88.
Hello, Weird Al Yankovic here. Let's take a look at how the world has changed since 1988. A year of tuition at Harvard, then $12,000. Now, $35,000. Ricky Lake, then 250 pounds, now 120. And the 100-meter sprint. Then, the record was 9.79 seconds by Ben Johnson. But old Ben got disqualified for using steroids. Now it's 9.78 by Tim Montgomery. 1/100th of a second after all this time. I say let him take steroids. It's got to be more interesting than this.
Then and now, 88.
Welcome to Yo MTV Raps.
Yo MTV Raps was huge.
Yo MTV Raps, boy!
That's when rap really broke across the world because white kids were able to see hip-hop.
I remember being the most excited little kid that there was actually a show focused on rap.
What's up? This is Fab Five Freddy. Welcome back to Yo MTV Raps. I'm here with LL Cool J.
I'm a smooth operator.
I remember Fab Five Freddy. I was down with him.
Fab Five is just a pro. I mean, he brought the old school man about town aspect to it.
Hey, loving Dr. Dre.
Yo.
Chilling in the house.
Dr. Dre, I'd love him, man. It wasn't so much the rappers they brought on, it's just how funny they were.
Yo, man, who ate my burger, man? Who been eating on my burger, man?
Yo MTV Raps with someone who called himself Dr. Dre but wasn't Dr. Dre.
How many Dr. Dre's are there anyway?
I'm having hard enough trouble as a white guy figuring out who these people are. I need 2 Dr. Dre's in my life.
What up, Bob? Dr. Dre? How you doing?
You know, the DJ would put any kind of wax on at any moment.
You look at Yo MTV Raps, maybe you're introducing the suburban kids to rap music. Then you take the Fresh Prince telling a story like parents just don't understand. Then you got a gazillion suburbanites going, yeah, they really don't understand.
Take it from me, parents just don't understand.
Will Smith coming out with Parents Don't Understand defined white youth migration towards hip-hop.
Yo, everybody give me a little shout out. Let me know who you are. Ice Cube, the gangster.
Gangster rap started the same year that Will Smith was bitching about his parents being away.
Straight out of Compton.
I was the first on my block to own Straight Outta Compton, which, I mean, if Guns N' Roses were badass, NWA made them look just like pansies. What was scary about gangster rap? It involved gangsters. Well, a gangster is scary, but a gangsta? Like, that's scary.
What was scary about it is that it was so raw, you know. Police, you know what I mean? It was crazy.
Nobody spoke to me about my own life the way Ice Cube spoke to me. When he said to the cops, back up, it was like he knew me personally. And that's what was so great about NWA.
Totally. There's more to life than what you're living.
I loved Who's the Boss.
There's another nanny situation, isn't it? Tony Danza as the nanny. Then, of course, there's the dynamic of the man and the woman, and is there something going on with them?
What exactly is the relationship between those two?
How much time have you got?
It's a fascinating, provocative study in changing American socioeconomic trends along gender lines.
Hi-ho, it's off to bathe I go.
I love Tony Danza, the man working as the housekeeper.
Housekeeper? Angela, this is the ugliest woman I've ever seen.
Women love to see this strong, sexy guy doing what they always did.
They have to call you Tony on your series and your real name is Tony. Something is desperately wrong.
We still, to this day, tease him that he always plays a character named Tony because he might not answer it any other name.
What are you talking about?
The TV show Who's the Boss was one of the great shows because Alyssa Milano was on it, and she was very hot then.
He is so cute!
What's great to see now is that she's really hot. She's the boss.
That's Sam in that dress!
There was an annoying kid on that show.
I didn't tell her.
Like a whiny, annoying kid. I think his name was like Jonathan or something like that.
No, I didn't know until now.
We just want to know who's the boss.
And we spent 8 years trying to answer that question. I don't know that we ever came up with a satisfactory answer.
Hi, this is Terrence Trent D'Arby.
I had a good amount of love for Terrence Trent D'Arby at the time. That was right starting to be the era of the bad dread look.
He was skinny, but man, was he cute.
You know, I like the lyrics. I like the way it flowed. He was like the male Sade.
Terrence Trent D'Arby and Lenny Kravitz kind of came out at about the same time, and it seemed to me there was sort of some competition between the two. And I think we both know who won that one. You can't go anywhere without seeing Terrence Trent D'Arby these days.
Wish you well in
Did you Terrence Trent D'Arby voice, man. He spoke with the grasp. He sung like that. And he was hitting them notes, and he had style and grace with what he was doing.
You know, I like that little part on it. Wishing Well to me was just catchy.
And this was just around the time that Baby Jessica fell into the well. So it might have had something to do with that.
And then he blew it.
Terrence Trent D'Arby was kind of positioning himself that his record would be bigger than Beatles, Sgt. Pepper, or whatever.
My ego's not a very small ego. No, this is a very large ego. It's probably a normal ego considering.
He had to open his mouth, and that was it. It was overdone. It's Trent Pooh.
Thanks a lot. We all appreciate it very much.
There was like this hippie comeback movement that came in the late 80s.
And then all these jappy girls from Long Island were all of a sudden wearing tie-dye.
Yeah, every generation wants to go back and visit the styles of the last generation. I don't know why anybody would want to go back to the hippie trend.
It was like someone did a bad magic spell or we got pushed into an alternate universe where everyone was like a hippie, and I'm like, what the hell?
You know, instead of putting people down for being different, they should welcome them because, you know, if everybody were the same, life would be boring.
I was never part of the hippie comeback because I always hated hippies. But they're so nice, you know? It's like, how can you really hate a hippie, you know? They're just like kind of, you know, they stink like patchouli and whatever, you know?
And I remember going, okay, what are we reacting to? What conflict are we having where a bunch of young people are going, no, I don't want to know about guns, I'm going to tie-dye my shirt.
A lot of us don't agree with society.
Tie-dyed stuff, I think, originated from, bong spilling on white clothes.
I think it just kind of looked good on young, pert college breasts. And if I have to wear this to get that, well, tie-dye this, and I'll put it on. Oh, a hacky sack? Cool. Stupid, scraggly beard? Fine, I'll wear it.
I thought that's all just a way for guys to have sex with girls who really earnestly believed in these things. If I had had half a brain in my head, I would have joined up with them. But I like Morrissey. What am I thinking?
The biggest thing about 1988 was Touch of Grey, which I thought was a really amazing debut single.
Yeah, a lot of people became Grateful Dead fans after that. I wasn't one of them.
Where they have mechanical skeletons? Yeah, I thought it cost a lot of money. It was a cheap-looking video, but it was entertaining.
Let's just get some string and hang these skeletons up. Which is an interesting kind of play on the fact that the Grateful Dead were probably the oldest act on MTV at that point.
I thought, wow, those old guys are still playing rock. Hopefully someone will say that about me someday.
I love 88. Coming up, exactly 240,000 milliseconds to Rain Man.
Do you know how much the square root of 2,130 is?
46.15192304. 2304.
Next on I Love 1988. But first, Mr. and Ms. 1988.
Who said what the who? That's right, it's me, the Dice Man, with the moment you've all been waiting for. Time to name Mr. and Ms. 1988. Try not to hyperventilate, huh? He, or it, was one of the most popular primetime TV stars and loved to attack pussies. He didn't like cats. They rode the pussy. They thought it would be funny, like the dirty comic saying something a little dirty. She was a squeaky clean teen idol who I always thought was a lot dirtier than her image. Shake your love? Sorry, but I read a whole different meaning into that. Alf and Debbie Gibson together. Mr. and Ms. 1988. I don't know who he is, and I don't care.
Mr. and born in 88.
I'm Soleil Moonfry. Here's a look at some of 1988's very special births. Haley Joel Osment, Teddy Grahams, the Miami Heat, En Vogue, and Prozac. There it is, the miracle of life, 80s style.
Born in 88.
Do you know how much the square root of 2,130 is?
46.15192304. 2304.
I love statistics myself, so Rain Man really spoke to me.
I'm an excellent driver.
Yeah, that's good. Come on.
I think it's a great storyline. A young man exploits his autistic brother to gain financially and then regrets it, but keeps the money. Welcome to the 80s.
Of course, I don't have my underwear.
What?
I'm definitely not wearing my underwear.
It seemed like Dustin Hoffman really annoyed Tom Cruise, and that was good.
We are not going to Cincinnati, and that's final.
Get my boxer shorts at Kmart.
Raymond, that is final. Did you hear me?
And yet he wanted to love him.
Watch my feet, Ray. Watch my feet.
People who talk about Rain Man as just like a sentimental journey of these two brothers, but the Tom Cruise character was basically trying to use him to like break the bank in Vegas. He wanted Raymond to count the cards.
Yes, sir. I gotta love this town.
Sally Gibbs Sally. 461-0192.
How did you know my phone number?
You kind of wish that you could get like 12 girls' numbers and remember all of them.
How'd you know that?
I said read the telephone book last night. Gibbs Sally.
Who's this? The boys just called me Rain Man.
Uh-oh, 12 minutes to Wapner.
Yeah, Wapner. Definitely time for Wapner. Definitely fart.
Uh-oh, fart.
That's my favorite thing. When they're in the booth and he's on the phone and fart. Oh.
Did you fart, Ray?
Fart.
Did you f***ing fart?
Fart.
Raymond, did you fart? Fart.
How can you stand that?
I don't mind it.
My favorite part of the movie was at the end when Cruise's character is like talking to Dustin Hoffman's character, and like in a sappy movie they'd hug, but you know Dustin's just sitting there and he just kind of leans forward and he touches Cruise's character's forehead. They just kind of sit like that. I thought that was cool.
Tell him, Ray.
Kmart sucks.
What are your dreams? What's left?
To rule the world.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Madonna.
200 greatest pop culture icons. Every night next week starts Monday at 9, 8 Central. Only on VH1, home of the greatest.
Paul and I were pretty naive when we started Microsoft.